Hey guys. So here we are back, part three of the It's Possible series. I was about to say day three. I don't know. And I can't wait to tell you guys what just happened. Just keeping with the theme of me being attacked by nature. So for those of you who don't know me, while I invite the entire world to this live, I am Tessa Colvin. I'm a publishing coach and consultant for those who are ready to share their message, experiences, methods, stories with others to show them a better way. And for those who I serve, I take the stress out of book writing. So I am really excited about this day. And I know it's like, why would you be excited about talking about not having time to write your book? And the reason is because we're going to kill that myth today and give you some different perspective on that. So, if you know people who have been struggling to get their book done, even if you're coming to the replay, tag them, share this out. Like I said yesterday, we all know people or have come across people or have been people who were writing their book for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 9 years, 20 years. Like that seriously happens. So if you know people who are struggling to get their book done, sharing is caring. Tag them, invite them to the party, invite them to the conversation, and let's get it done. Okay. So I think I have invited enough people in the world today. So, okay. Hey, Crystal. So, as you guys come in, let me know that you're there. Let me know you can hear me, you can see me, and all that good, fun text stuff. Let me make sure I'm where I think I am, um, and all of that good stuff. So, like I said, today we're doing part three of the It's Possible series. So, just to recap, why the It's Possible series? Because so many people think, believe, feel that it's just not possible to get their book done for one reason or another. And something that I have come across is that it's usually myths that keep their books, just their words, held hostage inside of them, that they never see the light of day, all of that stuff, right? So it's like, it's possible. Why not? Let's kill these myths and really help you to change your perspective and really know that it is totally possible. It's not a fluke that some people write books. Like, it's possible, it's a possibility. Um, Monday. No, today's Friday. Day one, part one, what we talked about was the myth of I'm not a celebrity. Nobody wants to read my book. That's just not true. We already tackled that and we narrowed it down to one powerful phrase to help you get out of your way with that myth. And it's while you're counting someone else's fans, your fans are waiting on you to shine and show them a better way. Right. So that was part one. Part two was if it ain't perfect, it won't sell. And it was titled that way on purpose. And that is because that's a total myth. People are looking for, first of all, books don't sell. That's our phrase. Books don't sell. Powerful solutions sell. Period. Period. That's it. And today we are diving into the I don't have time to write a book myth. So this is going to be fun because I hear this a lot. And here's the thing, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. We hear that phrase all the time. We hear that. It may seem a little cliche, but those are the facts. One thing that I know as a words girl is that the things that we say really and truly impact us. They really and truly impact our progress. They really and truly impact our ability to just, I thought I silenced that, our ability to just take action. So let's look at when we say, I am going to make time to write my book. Let's look at what happens, right? Because we've all said that I need to make time to do XYZ. And for the purposes of this conversation, I need to make time to write my book. So when you say I need to make time to write my book, this is what happens. Your brain says, we're going to make time to do a book. Make time, make time. So that's not possible to make time. So we're really not doing this. That's what it says, right? We're going to make time to get your book done. That means we're really not doing it. Why? Because you can't make time. If you could make time, hey, Malika, how are you? And I'm waving like you're going to wave back. Hey, girl. So if you can make time, if people could make time, then there would be more than 24 hours in a day, right? Because so many people would have made time to do whatever, to accomplish whatever, to achieve whatever. So always remembering how your body works, how your brain works. It's one of the most powerful computers because it was the first computer. You have to remember that your brain is looking for some way, some query to go out and bring back you some results. It works that way. It's just like a computer. And that's from my old tech days. Don't ask me anything else about computers because after that I'm spent. But but that's the thing. If you could really make time, then there wouldn't just be those 24 hours in the day that we are always talking about. There would be more. So when you say that, it never happens because it's not possible. So here's how you tweak that. You don't make time, you set time or you take time. That's the difference. You can set time because setting time means that there's an action that you can take that will bring that to fruition, right? You can set time. You can set time on your phone. You can set time on your calendar. You can set time for you to get your book done. That's one. You can take time. So taking time is a little bit different, and I'm going to show you how it's different. But before I do that, like put a pin in that. One of the main things, one of the main reasons that people say they don't have time is because they're overwhelmed. They're looking at the entire process of getting a book done. And so their mind's like, not even going to the writing first. You see my puppy in the back. Not even going to the writing first, but going to the totality of the project or the process. And it's like, oh, I need an editor. I need a designer. I got to figure out how to get my book on all of these different platforms. I got to figure out how to get a print edition. I got to do all of that, but you really don't. You have just gone 16 steps ahead when the first thing you really need to focus on is writing your book, right? That leads me even to the next thing. Are you even clear on what your book is about before you go and send it off to the printer in your mind? Like you're not even there yet. The time that you have just taken to convince yourself that you don't have time, you could have sat down and outlined your book, right? It's just that simple. Exactly. Baby step they still get you to the finish line. Like you're looking at the crossing the finish line and you haven't even put your sneakers on. Hey, Jen, you haven't even put your sneakers on. People still say sneakers in 2018, or is it just, anyway. So, so that's the thing. Yes, take time equals reallocate your time. I was listening to something this morning when I was dropping the teen off at school. It was about voting, and the guy was saying the time it takes to vote. Fellas, the debate that you're having over if LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan or vice versa, that's time you could have spent voting. I was like, wow, when you look at it like that. So the same thing. Sure, I mean, that's no debate for me because I know who the greatest is, but neither here nor there. But the time that it took you to decide that you need an editor, a designer, you need help supporting you to get it published everywhere in the world, you could have just sat down and outlined your book. 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You went on that downward spiral, you could have been doing something else. The same thing goes for those of you who have had a title for your book for 25 years. The time it has taken you to harbor that title and tell everybody, I'm going to write a book about, the title is this. You could have actually written the book, right? But that's another live. Y'all know how I feel about that. I hope you know how I feel about having the title and not having the book, right? So here's the thing. Going back to putting the pen in the taking time. People take time for what they want to, right? And you're probably saying that you don't have time because you're afraid. Because you're afraid, you're overwhelmed, you're afraid of the whole writing thing. I talked about that yesterday, that blinking cursor. It can be, it can have a little attitude and make you feel some kind of way. And you be like, who are you talking to? Just flashing on the screen, making you feel like you're not doing it, you're not writing, you're not making any progress, right? So, Malika, you said you could binge on Queen Sugar, or you could get in your closet and write. You could. Or in my case, you could binge watch Supernatural and write like 2 books. They've been around forever and a day. Or The Simpsons. Simpsons been on TV 30 years. You've watched 30 years of The Simpsons. You could have wrote a series. I'm just saying. Right? So when you put it in perspective like that, you've got time. You absolutely have time. Absolutely have time. So let's figure out why you're feeling like that myth is real. So I said it before, you're overwhelmed looking at the entire process. That's one. Get the book written first. Get the book written first, right? The second thing is the clarity piece. You're unclear about your book. So it feels overwhelming. You're unclear, like, who is my book for? What am I talking about? Am I talking about business? Am I talking about my life as an educator? Am I talking about my life as a mom, a single mom, a divorced mom? What am I talking about? So you do that, again, you go on this downward spiral and you're like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to do that. I got to go be this person. I got to go do this, wear this hat. I got to go do this. And so then you say, I don't have time for that. You see how that process goes. Hey, Donna, you see how the process goes. So you go from overwhelmed looking at the entire process to overwhelmed because you're unclear about the facts of your book, the meat of your book, the content, right? And so here's the thing. If you took time or set time to even get clear on the details of your book, like I said a couple of times, subliminal messaging, outlining it, then the process would not seem so daunting. It would seem very possible. It would seem like, you know what? I got my outline. If I knock out one of these chapters a day, I could do this in a couple days. So again, it's not that you do not have time. You haven't set time. You haven't taken time. Setting and taking time will help you to eliminate the overwhelm that you're feeling. So it's not that you don't have time. What you're feeling is overwhelmed because you're unclear. You're welcome. That's your Christmas present from me to you. Take that with you. Write a bestseller. It is possible, right? You can have that. It seems simple because it is simple. You allowed your mind to play tricks on you and you were an active participant in it. I have been in school, been working, all at the same time, been a wife, been a mom, and managed to accomplish some things, right? Hey, TQ, managed to accomplish some things. And it wasn't because I made extra time in the day. It was because I got clear on what had to be done, and I did it. The same rules apply to your book. Same rules apply, right? This is one of the main things that I hear people say when people say, why isn't your book done? You've said that to people, you've had people say that to you, and you say, I don't have time. But then you turn around and say, but I have the perfect title. I have the perfect cover design. Who did it? Please tell me you weren't on Canva for 3 hours designing a book cover and you haven't you haven't even outlined your book. You haven't put down word, piece of content the first. You haven't added meat the first, right? Like, I'm saying these things because they happen, and I want you to see how that feeds that myth of you don't have time, right? Okay, ladies, because I know some guys jump on. But ladies, think about the amount of time we put into deciding what our next hairstyle will look like. You on, if you like me, you're on blacknaturals.com. Hey, Andrea, blacknaturals.com. That's probably not a thing, but you know what I'm talking about. Hair media, is that still a thing? You're on YouTube, figuring it out. Do you want highlights? Do you want lowlights? Am I going to do braids? Am I going to do an updo? Am I going to cut it? Like, that's time that forethought that you put into your hair, right? Like, real talk. Hey, Benita. Hey, Victoria. That's time. Look at the preparation that went into that. Why aren't you approaching your book like that? That's the level of clarity work that you want to do for your book, so that then you understand the true process that's ahead of you. You understand, I've outlined 20 chapters, so I need to write 20 chapters. I'm not talking about you, Andrea. I was talking about me. It's me. I am the example. If I step on your toes, just back up a little bit. I'm using myself as the example here, right? I'm trying to help people. See, I didn't say you. I'm trying to help people, all of us, to understand how not having time is another myth that is just subjective. If it's subjective, it's not concrete, right? Subjective, meaning that it's subject to change. Like, time is fluid. Time is what you make of it. You have time to write your book. What you want to do is set time to get clear on the book that you envision. And then you make that shift from feeling hopeless and overwhelmed and unclear to actually putting in the work to get your book done, as opposed to Googling 37 sites on how to buy an ISBN for a book you haven't written yet, or spending hours on Fiverr looking for someone to do your book cover for a book you haven't written yet, or telling everybody every time they ask you what the title of your book is, or would be, or will be, but you haven't written your book yet. Like, raise your hand, and I'll raise my hand on screen if you've ever done that. I've done that. That's why I know. People are like, girl, when your book coming out? I don't know, but the title is going to be this. And then, people like, yay. And we like, yay. We told people the title of our book is going to be awesome whenever we sit down and write it. I'll wait. I want you to raise your hand. Like, have you ever done that? And if it makes you feel better, raise your hand if you know somebody who's done that. They've been telling you the title of their book for 3 years, 6 years, 20 years. Still no book, but the title, the title is fire. It's awesome. It's fire. Again, been there, done that. So let's talk about the clarity piece. One of the main pieces of clarity is making your book a priority. And that goes back to the setting the time. You've got to set time. If you're just coming on, you'll have to go back to the beginning where I broke down the difference between taking time, setting time, and making time, and why it does and doesn't work between those three, right? You've got to get clear and make your book a priority. You've got to make it a priority. And think about, for those of us who have babies, like, it's real life once you get the ultrasound and you're like, wow, okay, this is happening. It's a thing. You want to have that. Your outline is the beginning of that. That's the beginning of your baby being born, your book baby. That's the beginning of the process. But if you skip all the way over that and get off into spending 60 hours on Google University and YouTube University, then you're wasting time, because that's a real thing. Wasting time is real. Wasting means that you eliminate or discard something that you cannot retrieve. It's a waste. I can never get, it's 1:52 here. I can never get 1:51 p.m. on this day in this year back ever again. So think about that. There are some absolutes. There are some absolutes when dealing with this whole myth of, I don't have time. And I want you to understand, though, that it's absolutely possible within your day, within your life, within all of the hats that you wear to get your book done. Let me tell you how I know. Not only I feel like a hair club, not only am I the president, but I'm also a user. But I know for me, like I said, I have been in school. Hey, Sherry, I've been in school working a 9-to-5, military wife, mom, which basically felt like being a single mom, and still managed to get books done. I don't know if you're new to me, then I need you to understand writing 19 books in 6 years, that wasn't easy. It was necessary. It wasn't easy because I was building my wings on the way down, as they say, right? I have clients who wear multiple hats. I'm like, I don't even know how y'all do it. Like when it comes time for us to set calls, I'm like, do you have time? Like at this time, because they are community activists, they are professors, they are marketing executives, they are social activists, business owners, moms, wives, they are caretakers and caregivers. Like, that's a lot. But guess what? They still set the intention to get their book done. That's the thing that separates them from where you are right now and where they are. They set the time. They were intentional about the time. And it wasn't just the busy work of it. It wasn't just, like I said before, spending hours on a book cover for a book you haven't written. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Again, going back to the ladies, like, let's look at it a different way. Getting completely made up, as they say, beating the face, whipping the hair, putting on, the outfit that cinches everything, just to go sit in the kitchen. That might be a little frustrating, huh? It might feel like, what's the point of this? Some things are going to happen to you emotionally, mentally, that's going to stop you, maybe even from dressing up again, maybe even from going back to that outfit. That's how you're approaching this book writing process. You're looking at the end, you're crossing the finish line, and you haven't, like I said before, you haven't even put on your sneakers or tennis shoes, depending on you north, south, I don't know. You haven't even done that yet. So it's not that you don't have time to write your book. You need the time that you're using to be busy with your book vision, you actually need to dedicate that to writing, to outlining, to writing, to putting the words on paper, to making sure that you're answering the questions that people need you to answer, to sharing the parts of your story that they need from you the most, right? I hope that's making sense. So again, I'm going to go back through the 3 points and just kind of summarize a little bit, is that it's not that you don't have time. You're overwhelmed looking at the total process when the thing you need to focus on is writing your book. It's the writing. Step 1, writing, right? The second thing is, it's not that you don't have time. You lack clarity. You lack clarity. What is your book about? Have you outlined it? Have you determined who your book is talking to, speaking with, in a conversation with? Have you determined that? Those are the little pieces that happen at the very beginning that prevent writer's block, that prevent overwhelm, that prevent those moments of those ebbs and flows of your writing, those starting and stopping patterns. These are all things that happen in the beginning while you're at the end in your mind. You skipped over all of this. And the last thing is that it's not that you don't have time. The last thing is that you have to set time and take time. You cannot make time. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as making time. You have to set time and make time to get your book done. The ever elusive clarity is very important. It touches everything. Clarity is a part of everything. You have to get clear to get out of the bed in the morning. Like, what is your intention? What am I going to do? when I get out of the bed in the morning. It's so important. So revisiting the whole, it's not that you don't have time, you have to set or take time. That's why we're here, because I want you to understand that it's possible to get your book done within the confines of your life and time. It is possible. It doesn't matter if you have to take the kids to soccer practice. It doesn't matter if you're the football mom, the band mom. It doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter if you're working a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter if you're in school, wife, not a wife, sister, mother, caretaker, all of that. There's time for you to write your book. And if you are challenged with setting the time, I have the solution for you. You guys know I have created a retreat specifically for this. This is why the retreat was born. Do you know how many people I've encountered in my, I was going to say tenure, but that makes me feel real professor-like. But do you know how many people, hey, Elizabeth, I've encountered, and this is the number one thing they say. I know I'm supposed to write a book. I can't shake the feeling that I'm supposed to write a book. I don't have time. And I'm like, we've been talking for 20 minutes. I'm not saying you could have written your whole book in 20 minutes, but you certainly could have gotten clear. You could have gotten an outline started. So again, it goes back to perspective. These are the conversations that helped me to birth the Writing and Wine Retreat, because it was necessary. I realized that women, men, people with responsibilities in general couldn't see past their life to see getting their book done. So the perfect solution was to pluck them out of that, to pull them out of that into a very comfortable space, somewhere where their rational mind is busy. Like, oh, wow, is that wine? It's a winery. This is amazing. And their creative mind gets to come to the forefront and play. They're not judging themselves because rational mind is busy. They're not trying to adhere to the if it ain't perfect, it won't sell, because rational mind is busy like, wow, they give massages over there. All of these things, it's a method to the madness. This is why the retreat was created, because inside the retreat, you have a couple of different things happening. First of all, you have me in the room, and that's a big deal. And I'm not in an ego mode. I'm saying it because I'm really good at what I do. I have fallen down, tumbled over, scraped my knees, bust my head, bust my lip, learning the writing process, so you don't have to. I'm right there. I know when people get that look on their face and they're buffering and they're overthinking something, I can come right in and say, hey, what's going on? I can tap them on the shoulder and say, you stop writing, what's wrong? I can ask them questions from a reader's perspective that gets them back on track with their writing. I can give them some tools and some resources real time so that, okay, now go over in that garden over there and write a bit. Enjoy the sunlight. Write a bit. Write your love letter to your reader. I can do all of that. So that's a big deal. The other thing is, just like I alluded to a little bit ago, is that when you're plucked out of your everyday, something happens. Your rational mind is busy. It's on guard. It's protecting you. That means it doesn't have time to bully the creative mind. I told you guys before I started out doing fiction, and one of the things that would happen when I started the process of writing fiction is that if I'm creating this world where maybe there's no gravity, my rational mind's like, that doesn't make sense. Gravity's a thing. And my creative mind's like, oh, okay, because it's not a fighter. It's artistic. It's not a fighter, right? And so these are all of the things that went into designing the retreat the way that it is. You get to relax. You get to be plucked out of your everyday environment. You don't have to wear 37 hats. You just have to wear one, and that's writer. You get to be the writer. That's what you get to be, right? Inside the walls of the retreat, there are other people in the room doing exactly what you're doing, writing a book. That alone, that energy to create motivates you. It motivates you. And for those that have a little bit of a competitive side, you're like, oh, okay, I see what's happening. You're going to write your book. I'm going to write my book too. Ask me how I know. Because it's human nature. You also build relationships in there. There's nothing like having a support group in the room with you to cheer you on when you get stuck, when you feel like you've hit a brick wall. It's not just me cracking a whip telling you to get back to work, Sherry. No, it's not that. You build relationships with people in the room who are there to say, listen, you've told us what your book is going to be about. This is much needed. Get back to it. Where are you hitting your brick wall? What do you need? How can we help you, support you? All of this happens. And I know it sounds like, well, no, that's a workshop. It's really a retreat. It's a retreat on purpose. It's designed to help you write your book in a way that's stress-free, in a way that is authentic to you and your message, in a way that helps readers. It takes the ego out of it, because I'm not going to let you do it. I'm not going to let you write a vanity book. They still call them that. One of those where you just say, yes, I wrote a book and I'm awesome and I'm fabulous, and you're really the only someone who wants to read that book. This is why this retreat exists. To eradicate this myth right here that holds so many books hostage, period. And the thing about it is, when you come out of this, when you come out of the retreat, it's like a breath of fresh air. You have an entirely new understanding of your reader, the person that, and for my business owners, your clients, not just your raving readers, but your dream clients, because they're going to be one and the same. You're going to attract the same kind of person. You're not going to attract one person to your book and another person to your business, because you're the common factor. But that's a whole nother lie. That's a whole nother lie. So I want to wrap up the 3 parts of the It's Possible series by inviting you to the Writing and Wine Get That Book Done retreat, because it was specifically designed for you. It was designed for you because you have a message. It was designed for you because you know you have a book inside of you, not just a message. It was designed for you because you know that when you open your mouth, when you share your story, when you give that pep talk, when you give that speech of empowerment, there's a shift that happens with every single person you pour out to. It's not a fluke. It's not a fluke. You went through everything that you went through, challenging, downright hard, and you survived it because you're here watching me today. You survived the hard part. The writing is not supposed to be hard. I stand behind that statement. It's not supposed to be hard. You've already done the hard part. And like I said a couple of days ago when we kicked off, your message was perfected by your journey. So all of that stuff that has you thinking that you can't do this, no, that's not true. It is totally possible. I have clients, I've told you before, I have clients that said, I'm not a good writer. I can't write. And not only do they have bestsellers, but they're like everywhere with their books. They are having launches that they're concerned about not being able to have enough space in the capacity to hold the number of people who want to show up and support them. They're getting bulk orders. They're being asked to speak. They're getting TED Talks. They're being featured in Cosmo, all of that stuff. And yes, that's good. It's great visibility, but it boils down to they're helping more people than they ever thought possible. They're helping more people, impacting more lives, helping more people build businesses that are profitable, helping more people help more people, just by pouring the power of their stories into the pages of a book. And so again, like I said, I want to wrap up. This was part 3 of the It's Possible series, and I want to invite you to the retreat. I want to invite you to the Writing and Wine Get That Book Done retreat because it was specifically designed for you. It was specifically designed to help you overcome not just these 3 myths, but some of the other myths that are out there, like, I don't know what to say. That's a big one too. It's designed to help you get the writing done for your book easily and quickly. 4 days, Writing and Wine Get That Book Done retreat. So like I said, if this is for you, I'm going to drop the link, share it with you so that you can meet me there. Meet me there. Let's get your book done. And that's it. That was part 3 of the It's Possible series. And if you are coming back on the replay, I thank you guys for joining me. This was fun. This was fun for me because I love talking about book stuff. So I will see you guys on the next live, whenever that is.